Let's look at two more questions we asked. How much are you interested in or closely following the events leading up to the U.S. presidential elections? We're talking about Israelis. Extremely interested, 48%. Somewhat interested, 39.7%. Not very interested, 9%. Not interested at all, 2.8%. Now, let's go to the second one. This is interesting. Most U.S. Jews support the Democratic Party. Are they correct or mistaken in their support? Mistaken, 48.2%. Correct, 35.5%. Don't know, 16.3%. Danny, clearly this is the Trump effect, I would say, spilling over in general on Republicans versus Democrats.
Well, yes, first of all, we know that the American jury is a Democrat-leaning public, and I don't expect that to change in the 2020 elections. Now, look, I understand perfectly the issue. I was for 4 years the senior representative of Israel to the American Jewish community, sitting in New York. And, we Israelis sometimes tend to believe that American Jews are Israelis in waiting or something like that. No, they are Americans. And their considerations when going to vote are not just Israel. I would like very much if they would allocate to the Israeli issue a much higher value, much higher weight than they do. But I am aware that there are other issues that concern them, and their voting patterns are not correlated to the support of the candidate for Israel, but a myriad of issues that as Americans they are concerned with.
Right. It's going to be interesting, Owen, to see the results of the election, if Joe Biden should win, if those numbers shift at all. But right now, Israelis do think they have more support among Republicans than they do with Democrats.
No question, Clive. And by the way, that second question about whether American Jews are right in their support of Democrats, again, a huge correlation when you break down the numbers between right and left-wing voters. Right-wing voters, of course, much more likely to say American Jews are mistaken, and left-wing voters much less likely to say so. But you're absolutely right, Clive. When you step back and think about this, Joe Biden is winning this election by a huge margin and is highly likely, at least as we sit here today, to win on November 3rd. And the question is, what then? What does that mean for the way Israelis are going to perceive him and are going to perceive the U.S.-Israel relationship, let alone what does it mean for the U.S.-Israel relationship itself? But you're absolutely right. That is in the background lurking as we look at all these poll numbers.